So good morning, my lovelies. And just coming to your mat in whichever way you want to, lying down or seated. Today is a lovely sunny day, sort of that little feeling of the beginning of spring, and it just feels so uplifting. I think you probably feel it too, that it just curls the edge of your mouth up into a smile. Makes us feel a little bit lighter and brighter. So with that, just have a moment to think about what you appreciate today. Could be the smallest thing. On my morning walk, I walked past a bunch of daffodils that for so long have been closed, and they're all opened up, sort of dancing in the breeze, waving their sunny little faces at me. And just inside, I smiled. What makes you smile inside? These are the little things to hold on to sometimes when life can get challenging or a little bit stressful. Just the very small things that can just shift your thinking, your state of mind in a short while. Could be anything, could be a pet, could be the laugh of your best friend. All these things can just uplift us. So as we just sit or lie, have a moment to ground. Always sort of intentionally send your roots down. Connect in with your breath. Notice if it feels expansive today or whether it feels quite contracted to breathe. And it's always nice to notice how we start our practice. And then at the end, just a sort of a mild comparison. What's shifted in our bodies, in our minds. So those of you lying down, have a moment now to just enjoy a nice stretch. Taking the arms overhead maybe. And then you can draw knees in and have a nice rock. And if you're already seated, it feels sometimes nice just to roll the shoulders, move the head. And then gently we'll all join together seated. There's a lot going on in the world at the moment, very volatile, and it can, if you absorb it, there's no getting away from it, sadly, but you can limit how much access you have to it. And it can make us feel quite down, even and helpless in some ways. So sometimes I choose not to think of the things I can't control, but things that I can control. And what I can control is to be peaceful and settled within me and extend that vibration out to the rest of humanity and the universe and whoever, really. So with that this morning, I think we'll sit with the peace begins with me, the mantra, because saying that word repeatedly and just trying to get into that sort of vibration, it can help. The more people that sit peacefully, can change the vibration of humanity. There's been many, many studies done where en masse people have meditated on an intentional theme, and they've measured that crime has come down within cities. There've been less accidents. All sorts of things have happened, and it's not just a sort of coincidence. They've done it many times. So I do believe that these practices that we do together can shift something, even if it's very minor and mild, it can shift. So we'll take 5 minutes, and the mantra and the mudra, the fingers touch the thumb as we repeat mentally, peace begins with me. So we'll begin. Let your eyelids close, relax your body. Peace begins with me. 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 And just carry on. When your mind starts to wander, just come back to the mantra. Think of what peaceful means for you. Wishing the world peace. Just staying with your mantra and mudra. Notice your thoughts. And then we'll just gently finish the next mantra and we'll come back. As you do these practices, your mind perhaps does concentrate on your breath, your mantra and the fingers, but the mind will still think and wander a little bit, even though you're still doing these things. And it's interesting to think about peace. We can be peaceful on our mat for those 5 minutes or the whole hour, and maybe for another 20 minutes after we finish our practice. But where in our day do we lose our peace? It can be irritated by something we hear on the radio. It can be by somebody doing something that we don't do it that way or how we expect it. All these little things are us not being peaceful within ourselves. And so these practices can draw our awareness to the little points in our day where we're not peaceful. And when everyone's like that, it can create all amounts of unrest, can't it? Okay, had my little say on peace today. Still feeling peaceful. Let's come into mantis. This does open up through the hips. It's the compression in the legs. If this pose doesn't suit you, maybe come into sort of a gentle butterfly. So that's just an alternative for anyone that feels that this particular pose might be too intense on the hips today. So you can have a little kind of blanket or a cushion under the chest or belly if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, let's just come into this lovely pose. It's really nice for stretching through the whole back. Compression in the legs here benefits our stomach meridian. And it's also nice for the meridians that flow through the arms, heart, lungs, large and small intestine. So relaxing into this gently in deep breaths. And please know that if at any time you need to come out of this pose, please come out of it sooner and rest back on the mat. How do you feel here? Can you relax the abdomen around the hips? Is there tension in your shoulders? As you relax the shoulders, you might feel the chest softening more to the mat. Noticing what's going through your mind in this moment. Noticing how your breathing feels here. Can you relax anything else? Check in with your upper arms and your shoulders and chest. So we'll just take a few more breaths, lifting the head slowly, noticing how it feels to come out of this pose, whether you've actually got quite comfortable in it in the end, how it feels between your shoulder blades at the back of your body. And then we'll lie down in Shavasana. Oh, feeling that nice flow through the legs as you unravel them. Tingling in the feet, perhaps. And where we've kind of been in a little sort of scrunched in the front of the body, you might feel some coolness or chi movement in the chest area. Just having a few moments to inquire within what feels a little bit more spacious in your body. These yoga postures have the ability to sort of shift your energy around by just being in the posture. We know from when we move our hands into different positions how it affects our breath and flow of energy. So the postures themselves can be quite impressive with their how they lock energy in the body, let it flow in other areas. So let's bring the right knee in and then left knee. Have a little rock. And then coming up. We're going to come into dragonfly. So we've kind of opened up through the hips with mantis, and this is just a nice one as well. If you need a little bit of rolled fabric just under the edge of the buttocks, that can sometimes feel nice. If you feel like you're collapsing into the back. Otherwise, just sort of leaning gently into this and seeing where the pose takes you. Relaxing your legs. Always start looking through the legs for that little bit of tension we're holding, and then maybe lower back, and then coming up to the upper back and arms. And this one is really lovely for the liver, kidneys and spleen. Follow your breath deeply. Try and notice how long you can follow your breath before the mind hijacks you and takes you somewhere. Yoga is so often thought of as just an exercise practice or just a few stretches. But there's so much more to it. The idea of hatha yoga or many of these yogas in the Western society is to reach meditation, prepare the body for meditation. And in that stillness, it's that union of yourself with whatever source created us. It's that joining back of the consciousness that we have in our individual selves and the universal consciousness. And so when we often bring our hands together into Anjali Mudra, the prayer pose, this is the representative of the union of the individual self and the Brahman. And the Atman is known as the individual self, and the Brahman as the original source. So enjoying the breath that comes into the body. And this is one thing we can always be grateful for. If we're ever struggling for something that we can be grateful for, it's the next breath. Because we never know when it will be the last one. The simple things. So just take 2 or 3 more breaths here, following each one. And just noticing how the posture has shifted from 5 minutes ago. And we'll lift up slowly. Feeling whatever we feel on the way up, even though we're just lifting the body upwards, there's so much that we can feel and so much going on through the legs, through the back. And then we'll come down. And even as you roll yourself down, one vertebrae at a time, just experiencing whatever sensations roll out. Wag your tail if you need to. Rock the pelvis a few times. Just finding a comfortable spot. And then just continue relaxing. Everything's still sometimes a bit tense. It's interesting to notice as you do your practice, certain poses will keep you so much more conscious of what's going on minute to minute. So as you come out of that pose and you roll down, you're so aware perhaps of your spine and the muscles you feel through your back. And then maybe in these other minutes that we lie here, you can really observe the shifting release through your body. Gradually everything softens and just feels a little bit different. Moments of being really, really mindful of you and yourself and what you're feeling. Which is why I believe they say that yoga is the path that brings you back to yourself. And you can really be in touch. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe a long sigh. Feeling how that feels in the belly to breathe quite deeply. And then we'll bring our knees in. We're going to come into heart bench next. So rolling up and a nice counter pose to the forward fold or dragonfly that we've just come into. So 2 blocks. And then we'll gently lie back. As always, have a few moments to adjust where that block goes. It always takes me a few goes. You'll find a spot that isn't necessarily entirely comfortable, but it's the most comfortable out of all of the little places that you shift it. And the base of the block, the bottom of it, I would say is sort of almost in line with sort of that bra strap level. And then just in resting the head, you can let the chin tuck inwards, let the arms rest outwards. Have a nice release through the breath, and then we can settle here. It's interesting to notice when you come into these poses that are so familiar, we do repeat them often, how it feels in that first instant, whether it's a really welcome feeling or whether there's a little bit of a struggle and takes a little while to settle. Does the body invite the pose easily? And this lovely heart-opening posture. It's really easy to breathe. You can feel the breath in the belly and the chest, all the way up to the shoulders. Maybe you can bring the thoughts of peace back into your mind. You can repeat shanti. Shanti means peace in Sanskrit, and often it's repeated 3 times. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace to you, peace to your near and dear, and peace to all other humanity. A really lovely thought that's been handed to me recently is about being a mother to the world. So the way you love a child or somebody very dear to you, and how you wouldn't want anything to hurt them, whether they behave good or bad, you just love them unconditionally. And that feeling of being able to really expand your love to not just your children, but to 10 more children or 100 more children, or the children of the earth, which are all of us, all us adults. So I'm just going to leave that with you as we sort of rest in this pose, the idea of being a mother and having all those feelings that you have, but for the world. Notice how it feels in your heart to consider this. Just checking in every now and then if there's tension in the body. Notice if the thoughts that you're having alter how the body feels. So let's just take one more breath. And slowly we're going to support the body, lift the head, then come up. And then just moving your blocks aside, we'll come down. Again, it's really lovely to just roll the spine down, feel everything that's going on in a different way from the previous poses. How refreshing does it feel in the chest and the back? Do the after effects of this pose feel like they've balanced out something from the previous poses? And where, if at all, you can feel any chi. You'll find some postures, the after effects, you'll feel more chi movement than maybe others. So that's why I always offer that inquiry, in case it's quite obvious or whether you really have to go looking through the body for that sense of movement. Nice deep breaths. And then we'll gently draw knees in. Give yourself a hug. If there's one thing we can do ourselves, is to give ourselves a bit of love. It starts with us. If we have that understanding of love for ourselves in a non-ego way, then we know how to share it, we know how to feel it. So our next pose is supported bridge. So you can stay in this lying position with your block that you had earlier, and then coming up into bridge. So just knowing that you can have it on the top height or turn it to the lower height. Just feel into what you're feeling today. Sometimes you want to be higher, sometimes you just feel like you want to be lower to the earth. And then we'll lift up, placing it on the that little flat part of the sacrum, almost in line with the top of the buttocks. It's comfortable here. It's not encroaching on lumbar vertebrae. And then we can just relax, palms facing upwards. You're resting here. Two places I always draw awareness to are the sort of inner thighs and buttocks area, and then the tops of the shoulders and upper back are places that I find tension just keeps coming back. Keep letting go. Sometimes you can release the tension and almost immediately check again, and it's there. It's very strange how the body is. Just does what it wants to do at times. Relax the shoulders. Release the buttocks. Gradually, your body cooperates and you will soften. How does this pose feel to you today? Can you breathe deeply? Does it feel good? And this is a lovely pose to enhance our solar plexus, as well as heart and throat.
And so we can consider in this posture how we are responsible for all of our reactions and our responses. Sometimes I think we don't think we do have a responsibility. Somebody says something hurtful, we react. Somebody does something we don't like, we react. But in fact, we're so responsible for how we choose to react, which comes to the point of action in the solar plexus, this center of taking action and behavior and response. So just notice, perhaps as your day progresses, if there are certain things that you would normally have responded in a certain way. But if you took a breath and thought back to this moment of knowing we're fully responsible all of the time for everything that we do, I wonder if we'd act differently. Choose not to be upset or sad if somebody says something, because it's usually a reflection of their own stuff. We're often a mirror for people, as they are to us. So let's just take a few more breaths. And then lifting up slowly, just come onto toes. So you can just lift away from your block, and then gently again, enjoying how your spine just rolls down. Feeling the very different sensation from heart bench. Noticing the shift in chi and energy, feeling perhaps quite centralized around where you can feel the after effect of the block. Again, just wag your tail, rock the pelvis if you need to. Feeling good, take a deep breath. Where you feel this sort of hub of energy in the body, notice also where it does extend out. You might feel a very slight coolness on the sort of the tops of the thighs, around the pelvis area. It's interesting to feel everything. So let's draw knees in. Take a moment here, especially as we have sort of arched quite into lumbar spine there. So you might want to draw the head up to your knees, take a little bit of a longer rock. Just consider in this moment how you're feeling, what you're thinking. And so we're going to come into two more poses. The next one is waterfall, which is a lovely inversion, but the last pose will be yogi's choice. So think about, whilst you're in this second from last pose, what your body might need, just to sort of towards our end of our practice. So we'll come into waterfall now. I like to use a little cushion, wedge it under the buttocks gently, just to sort of keep you there and stable. It just has a little tilt for the pelvis, and then we'll relax here. I love coming upside down a little bit, even though it's not entirely upside down. It is an inversion, a gentle inversion of sorts. And they often say that it just gives you a different perspective on life to flip yourself upside down, see things from a different point of view. So as you lie here, you can close your eyes and gaze towards your third eye, Ajna, and notice if any inspiration comes to you that's, slightly different from maybe your normal view of life. Returning to being a mother to all of the earth, or considering how we respond to people and things today. Enjoy how it feels to breathe in this pose. Nice deep belly breaths. You can think about what's happening in your body. Your heart is more rested. It doesn't have to pump all of the blood down to the feet and up again. The lymph has a chance to sort of flow in the opposite direction. If you find that you have fluid build up in your legs, this is so beneficial. Resting tired feet. And so we'll just gently start to lower the feet down, bend your knees. Pause here for a moment if that feels nice. And then we can pull the cushion out. And just join me in Shavasana for a moment, just feel the after effects. And as you have these few moments here, just think about whether you've come to a pose that you want to do. Also, if there is a practice that you would like to do, so before you relax, maybe you'd like to do Nadi Shodhana, a seated alternate nostril breathing, or return to a meditation that you enjoy. So whatever yogic practice, whether it's pose or breath, just think what you would like to do for this next 5 minutes before we relax. You can return to a pose that you've already done if you wish, and just extend the feeling there. So draw knees in. Don't worry if you haven't thought of something, just rock and see if your body just wants to move into a shape. Does your back need a forward movement or a backward movement? Perhaps a side stretch to the body with a few moments in banana each side. Maybe a twist. So coming now into a posture or a few postures that you would like to move into. Consider it your personal 5 minutes. Even if it's not yin and you would like to sort of just move gently between two poses, maybe swaying the knees or coming into a child's and cobra movement. Take 5 minutes as your personal sadhana. A sadhana means personal practice. Listen to your body and just follow its guidance. There's so much power in listening to your own body. We often go to doctors, trust the white coats, and we should at times, not negating that, but I often do believe that listening to your own instinct is so powerful. Notice what you've chosen and why you've chosen it. Does it open certain chakras in the body? Is it relieving in a physical way? Just one more minute of whatever feels right for you. Change your pose, move. And then just take one more breath. Come out of the pose that you're in and just lie back for a moment. Take Shavasana. Just absorb the practice that you just did. Or maybe all of the movements. I chose a few different movements there, just the body led me and I followed. Did it feel balancing? Is there a nice feeling inside that you've actually listened to yourself? And so now we'll come into relaxation. Choosing whether you want to come to seated or stay lying down, have a little rock if you need to. And coming into whichever pose you want.
So just relaxing your body. So rather than a piece of writing to read to you or a card, I was thinking earlier through the practice of a film that I have seen quite a few years ago called The Shack. It's a lovely film. It has a spiritual theme to it. There's a little bit of a sad theme. Sadly, a family has lost a child, went missing. And the gentleman, the father, is in turmoil, emotional turmoil. The movie moves into a theme where he's invited to a log cabin. I can't remember the details. But who he meets there are three people. These three people are slightly different representations of God or the divine or source or whatever you subscribe to. And he spends some time there talking to these three aspects of God to eventually come to some healing. And one part of the movie, which was profound for me, and I always come back to, I can't remember the words exactly, but was trying to describe that if we are all children of God, for instance, we're all the humans on this planet from one source, whatever that may be. And like if you are a mother and you have all sorts of different children, some are naughty sometimes, some are good, others will misbehave at times, but you love them all the same, whether they are behaving, whether they are on the right path that you consider, or the wrong path, they've taken the dark route. You still love them unconditionally. And so if we can get to a place where we understand this, where we're mother, father to earth, that everyone on this planet, whether we consider them bad, evil, good, saintly, they're all children on different paths, their own paths, either towards the light or away from the light. And to see other human beings, different cultures, different everything, as this, so sisters and brothers, and that the one thing that created us loves us all, and that you couldn't choose between your children because one's done something naughty or one's done something good. You still love them. And so that was a very long-winded way of trying to describe what came about in this film. So if you ever get the chance to watch this film, The Shack, it's interesting. It's a little bit upsetting and painful, but it's actually quite profound and healing on a soul level for yourself. So I'm going to just leave that with you, the idea that all humanity are just little kids. Some are on the right path, some on the wrong path, but you love them. You love them unconditionally, whatever. So very gently. Just notice the thoughts that were buzzing about in your mind just then. Take the word of peace with you today. That's the word of the day. And just see where you can be peaceful, where maybe normally you wouldn't be. So just gently start to wiggle fingers and toes. Take a nice deep breath. And a nice long sigh. Let everything soften and relax. And then just starting to stretch in whichever way feels good. Roll the head, roll the shoulders. Stretch the back, bring the knees in. Coming back into your day with a big smile because it's sunny outside. And that always makes us smile. When you're ready, just coming up to seated. Root down again. Bring your palms together in this union of Atman, individual self, and Brahman, which is conscious universal self. Om Shanti. Namaste.